Hello, this is Inside the Press Box with Sunil Sunder Raj of the Everyday Fan Sports. Today, I'm happy to be speaking with Curtis Whiting, the senior running back on the Hackensack High School varsity football team. Curtis, thank you so much again for taking some time out to speak with me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Hey, congrats, Curtis. You said, on just absolutely, stellar career at Hackensack High School and the varsity football team. Um, I guess it's been a week since before we came on the air about the Teaneck game, 28-0 win and scoring 2 touchdowns. Again, senior day, finishing your career, I said on a high note. Now you've had some time to reflect. I'm wondering what first and foremost what comes to your mind, Curtis.
First thing I think about when I think about my last year as a Common is just my family and my brothers. To be honest with you, I miss them the most. The 22 seniors that we have, most definitely I miss them the most out of everybody. And the 70 other guys we have on the roster, I miss them just as much. But that senior class is something special. I won't forget any of them.
Hey, talk about the lead up to the game against Teaneck. Senior day. Said the pregame festivities. Walking out. Said with your family, but just talk about that day itself, Thanksgiving Day, and putting the pads on, that jersey, that Commons jersey, that helmet, that gold helmet on for the last time. It must have been very emotional, said for you and that senior class, Curtis.
Yeah, it was definitely emotional for me and my brothers, especially because our last game and it was at home, our senior day especially. I mean, that game always would be like a fiery game, very intense game for all of us because, it's Teaneck across the river. We always want to beat that team across the river. So any game besides that game, we're always just fired up, always fired up for every game. Them and Ridgeway, I think, get a little bit more fired up for those 2 games out of the whole year. I mean, just seeing my brothers get dressed for the last time, us going out there together for the last time, and knowing it's the last time for sure was definitely a very emotional thing. Watching all my teammates go out before me because I'm the last name on my team for senior night. So watching all my guys get called with their families after a long 4 years we've had together was definitely an emotional moment.
I mean, it was just a fabulous day weather-wise, and it just and then you had the bands there and the cheerleaders. Just talk about that, and then of course the home crowd. Just talk about that, and as you mentioned, a rivalry game against Teaneck. Made for a really great Thanksgiving Day game, Curtis.
Yeah, you see that game. That game gets the most turnout at any game we usually have out of the whole year. Everybody from the whole town comes out from both towns. All the alumni come back with their varsity leather jackets. Just a crazy environment having all the alumni and their parents come back and support the program, everything we stand for.
And talk about, you said you guys jumped out to 7-0 lead. You said that 35-yard touchdown run. Said to kick it off. Talk about scoring that first touchdown. Just said breaking loose. Said for the score.
Yeah, it was definitely a good run. Thanks to my O-line on that right side, they opened up the hole for me. Michael Grant led me through and blocked the safety Coffee. I got through there and had to make one guy miss, and he makes it easy for me. So they've been making it easy for me the whole year. Just that game, that run was definitely special for me because it was my first touchdown of the last game.
Yeah, and we moved to the fourth quarter. It said you score on it said that run from 3 yards out. Said just talk about that final score, Curtis.
Yeah, my man Giovanni Payne. We always joke about him getting the hawk out slow he is in practice, but he was pretty fast on that run. Pretty fast kid caught him, tried to stiff arm him around the bounce. So they called my number on the goal line for the quarterback power formation we running all year. Heavy. We have Hassan Billy, Elijah Abuaje, and Giovanni Payne in the backfield with me. They call it heavy, and it just works on the goal line most of the time. So we went to quarterback power from that, and we just got in. They called my number, and I executed it.
Okay, so the final seconds are ticking down there in the fourth quarter. What's running through your mind? And then, of course, when said the clock hit 0.
Honestly, it didn't hit me until later on, like way after the game. Like I'm in the moment of the day, Thanksgiving Day. My grandma's here, and my whole family's in Jersey. So at that point, I'm just like, I can't wait to go home for time with my family. But now I'm like, man, my last game was on Hackensack Field on Thanksgiving. I can never go back. I look back outside the windows during school day. I just see the field. I'm like, man, I could do anything to go back and play one more game on that field.
Yeah. Talk about your father, Gordon Scooter Whiting. I was going to mention your father later in the interview, but I think it's only apropos because he was inducted into the Hackensack, High School Athletics Hall of Fame in a special halftime ceremony. Said including the legendary, head coach, Greg Toll. Just talk about, how again, how special, that halftime ceremony was, and be able to share it with your father.
Yeah, it was definitely special sharing it with him because I've been watching basically his whole growth as a coach from 2003 up until now. So, and they were winning championships to now us this year. So it means a lot just going out there and just being with him in the moment, him going in the Hall of Fame. Hopefully one day I'll be out there. He'll be out there with me when I'm getting inducted. It just means a lot to my whole family because they grew up in Hackensack and basically my whole family played for the town. So him being the first one inducted to Hall of Fame for my whole family means a lot. And then hopefully I'm the next.
Okay, you had an outstanding senior year. I want to, of course, a list of accolades. Second team All County, first team All Conference, top 10 in rushing, over 1,600 yards rushing, 16 touchdowns. And let's not, skip over. You played defensive back. I think making close to 40 tackles. But the game that, of course, stands out in everybody's minds against Passaic. Over 300 yards rushing, 7 touchdowns. Honored as said, the athlete of the week. When you look back on this season and the numbers you were able to put up, Curtis, but especially in that Passaic game, I had to ask you, again, what crosses your mind?
Definitely that game was special to me because it was definitely a game we needed to clinch the playoffs to get into the playoffs, and I just felt like I was differently locked in that game. My O-line did a great job opening the holes up that game, and I didn't really get touched second level for most of my runs. And that's how it was basically the whole season, them just blocking well, me making one guy miss and getting to the end zone. But that game just stood out to me, especially I was definitely more locked in the other games because I knew it was a do-or-die type game. We would have lost, we would have been out the playoffs.
Those are remarkable numbers. They're just, staggering. To know that. I'm wondering, when you're in that moment, I said, and you're you have that vision of the field, and as you said, the offensive line is opening up those holes. But I'm wondering, as the game progressed, here you were scoring, time after time, and then, of course, racking up those yards. I'm just wondering what is, just describe that, because that in-game experience, said, we were untouchable on that day.
Hackensack fans are unbelievable, so they keep me locked in the game. I hear the crowd going crazy when I'm scoring. I hear my name on the loudspeaker after I score a touchdown. I didn't know what was going on until the announcer, Frank DiLorenzo, who'd been announcing that game for a while now, was like, "Oh yeah, Curtis tied the rushing record with 6." So I'm like, "Oh, I'm about to get it at 7." So then I'm like, it came to my head. I'm like, "Yeah, I knew it was 6, but I knew I had to get 7 to break the record." And I just was just so locked in, and my brothers kept me locked in. Like Shalik Hubbard came over to me, he was like, "Yo, Kurt, we're getting this 7 touchdowns. Like, we're gonna get this." And he's obviously one of the best offensive linemen in the county, if not the state.
Yeah, no, I agree. Hey, and it just kept on getting better for you, Curtis. Honored by the New York Jets. Head coach Robert Saleh, said wearing his shirt, and then of course honored, said by the Jets at a home game at MetLife Stadium. Just talk about how just the adrenaline going through and just how electrifying that was to be honored by the New York Jets.
The experience was great. I enjoyed myself immensely at the game. I went on the field. I met Josh Allen. I saw all the guys, Stephon Diggs on the field. I met all the Jets players. They were on the field warming up when I was down there. When I got on the field, they recognized me, played my highlights on the big screen. It was just an amazing moment, like once in a lifetime opportunity that you get. I'm just forever thankful.
I wanted to mention these names, running backs that have played, for Hackensack High School in the past. Billy Harris, Yakimo Brown, Rashidi Brown, Kaleem Hazel. That Kaleem is, of course, a coach. The running backs coach. On the team. Just talk about what it means to be in that category of the greatest running backs. To play for Hackensack High School.
All those guys, those are basically my family and my mentors. So they've all been telling me since I was young that you could be the next guy. You could be the next guy. I didn't really believe it until this year. I started getting faster and stronger. I put the work in with those guys, actually, most of them. Coach Hazel worked me out this offseason a lot. And Coach Brown, Rashidi Brown, he's not a coach, but I think of him as a mentor. Yeah. He's called me up many times, told me what to do to get right. Billy Harris is actually my dad's godfather.
Mm-hmm.
So he actually has called me a lot as well. I mean, we're all different type of running backs, but I just think all of us bring something good to the table at Hackensack and just bring the same type of running style that we're used to having at Hackensack High School.
It's great. Hey, wanted to, pivot back to the senior group. There's some names. I mean, you mentioned Shalik Hubbard, Hassan Bailey, Michael Grant, Walter King Jr., Victor May, Terrence Hicks. I mean, those just to name a couple of the seniors. I mean, there are more of them out there. But when you talk about the tradition, the culture, the brotherhood, said at Hackensack High School, just talk about that as well, Curtis.
I mean, all the guys you named and even more have been major contributors to our program for three to 4 years, especially those guys you named. They're definitely going to go play college football somewhere. Hopefully some Division I, Division II, Division III guys. But we knew it was going to be a rough year because we came off COVID year last year and we have a new coach. But we stuck together and we had a great season. I'm hoping next year they're going to be even better because we set the foundation for them to get better.
I know it was a tough loss to Clifton in the North 2, it's a Group 5 quarterfinals. I mean, you guys lost 23-14, but the score is a lot closer than that. You guys battled for all 4 quarters. I mean, you rushed for 145 yards, 2 TDs. Talk about, playing in that game and just the fact that you guys, basically left it out there on the field. I mean, you guys, said did everything in your power, said to try to come out with the W. But I just had to ask you about that particular game, Curtis.
Yeah, I mean, we were right there knocking on the door. We lost to the the sectional champions by 9 points. And we were in honestly, that last touchdown they got wasn't really anything because we were down 17-14 when we got a face mask penalty and they started driving down the field and they scored that last touchdown. But game could have went either way, honestly, with you. And that last touchdown that we scored was on our side. And if we would just got one more time, it would have been a completely different year and different game for us. But I mean, I'm thankful we were there in the first place and to be in a tight game with that team. That's a very good team. We have played Coach Sinku did a great job scheming for us, but we could have definitely came out victorious for a little bit changed in that game.
Yeah. You talked about COVID. I'm wondering, still in the midst of this pandemic, preparing for this season, putting on those pads, that jersey, playing a full schedule. How good of a feeling was that, especially with this senior class, a huge senior class we're talking about, we're 20 seniors. And then, of course, with the coaching staff as well. I had to ask you, Curtis.
It was definitely a blessing playing a full season this year. We thought we had a great team to win the championship this year, but obviously it didn't go the way we wanted it to go. But I still would never take back the time I have with my guys, just playing with them, going out there, enjoying practice every day, lifting with them. And just the bond that I built with my friends this year has just been different than any other year I built it with them. Honestly, my man, Shalik Hubbard, like I said before, one of my closest friends, he's up there with all the accolades with me. Wherever I go, that's where he goes. That's my guy.
That's great. Hey, just incredible your rise. I mean, how fast it came about. I'm wondering, from year to year, from where you started out, and now here how you finished, in your senior year at Hackensack High School on the varsity football team. I'm wondering, was there anything different, and just your approach in terms of your senior season, Curtis?
So basically, to tell you the full story, I was running back my whole life.
Okay.
In middle school, elementary school, and when I came as a freshman, I knew we had some good backs ahead of me. So I didn't want to play freshman at all. I wanted to play varsity and make an impact for the varsity team. So my dad, as you know, converted me to a defensive back my freshman year. I worked the whole summer continuously as defensive back, trained with Coach Deering, and he got me ready for varsity. For the first varsity game, actually, against Eastside my freshman year. Then my sophomore year, we had Tommy Robinson, Jaden Robertson still. So I'm still behind those guys. I still worked at running back, but not as much. I was focusing on defense a lot. Junior year, I started to get my touch back at running back, as it's been a while since I ran the ball. So the first 2 years, I only had 1 carry combined for the first 2 years. Then my junior year, I had 60 carries, and I got a little bit warmer with the ball, averaged like 5 yards a carry that year. And this year, I was really comfortable with the ball in my hands. And I knew I had to be dominant for my team to win some games this year. And I just would work continuously off season. 5 a.m. workouts every day for the whole off season. Basically, my guy, Rick, at 24 Hour Fitness. So every day you go, and I just work continuously. That's how I became the way I was this year.
That's terrific. Hey, putting on those pads, that Comets jersey and helmet, I'm wondering what that represented to you personally, Curtis, these past 4 years.
It meant a lot, honestly, because my dad played, my grandfather played, his father played. My grandfather has 5 brothers. They all played. my dad's brother played, Curtis Whiting, he played for us. Just
Mhm.
it meant a lot. I feel like I was carrying my whole family on my back every time I touched on the field, and they were all there supporting me as well. So I feel like I just had to be better than all of them. So I just tried every game. I would check my dad's stats. I have a book upstairs. Look at his stats, and I would just try to break every record that was even close to his name. I just try to be better than him. So hopefully my son will be better than me.
That's great. That's wonderful. Hey, you mentioned playing at Tom Delatorre Field. Talk about Friday Night Lights. Even playing, on a Saturday. What those moments were like these past 4 years as well.
I mean, just running out with my team is unbelievable. Like you hear the fans going crazy, the crowd screaming my name, the crowd screaming the team's name. Just going out there, win, lose, or draw, it just meant the world to me, honestly. And now I get to finish my high school career playing basketball. Hopefully, we get a state championship this year in basketball.
That's great. Hey, new head coach and Brett Ressler. I said who definitely has so many ties to Hackensack High School. Talk about what it meant to play for Coach Ressler this season.
See, Coach Ress, he's just a great guy. He's very involved in what's going on in our community, and he's very invested. Like, he's trying to get the Little League programs together so they can run the same play as our high school program. He's very involved. He'll be here for a while, and I think they'll be really good coming up. I mean, for me, it was a great experience playing for a young coach, and then my whole senior class basically loved him. So it was an easy transition for him and for us. I mean, it's a first-year thing, so obviously it's going to take some bumps in the road, but I feel like down the line, it's going to be a legendary coach for our school.
I mean, rarely do we get to see the emotions of a coach in post game, but I mean that was just on full display last Thursday at Hackensack High School at Tom Delatorre Field. Just talk about that. It said the players, circled around it. Said you guys were able to raise that trophy, and again, I mean, just him pouring his heart out, just like and how much this team, this school, means to him. Just talk about that.
I mean, like Coach said, it's his dream job, and for us to just be here with him is just a blessing in itself. And us bringing that trophy up every year and just bringing it back to where it belongs, at high school. So it can't be anywhere else because we won't be able to hear the end of it through any other sport. So we have to get it for our senior year, especially because now for the rest of our lives, we can say at least when I would have bang, it would be Teaneck for our last game.
Yeah. Hey, I have a couple more left, but I mean, just how exemplary you are in the classroom. It said a 4.0 GPA, a member of the National Honor Society, and you're committed to play at Army West Point. Just so impressed by that, Curtis. Talk about, I mean, it takes a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, to achieve those numbers and to be in that type of, class. So just talk about, I mean, I'm sure not only said you're proud, but like your family, but again, being able to have those achievements.
I mean, for that, I have to give credit to my mom and my sister, Camille. They're really heavily on me when it comes to my grades. Even though Camille's younger than me, she still wants to see me succeed. She always on me like, Curtis, did you do your homework tonight? Did you do your homework? I come back to practice, I'd be tired in my room. She's like, Curtis, come on, get up, do your homework. So it's really to them why I'm doing good in the classroom. And just football-wise, they're also very supportive in what I do. Wherever I go, they're just supportive of whatever I do and come to every game regardless of rain, shine. It could be sleet, hail, anything out there. So they're my support system. They're my backbone.
I mean, it doesn't get any more prestigious than, being able to commit to Army West Point. I'm wondering, again, what for you, what factored into that decision and just, again, be able to choose Army West Point.
Honestly, the home welcoming environment that they have, and they just even though last year I didn't have the year I wanted to have in my junior season, they still recruited me and they still said I was a great player, knowing that I could do this my senior year. They saw the potential that I had in me before I even did what I did this senior year. They saw I could play running back. They said I could play corner. So they looked past all the stats, all the numbers. They just said, you could be great. So this year I had the numbers to match up with what they said I could do. And then them just calling me every week, it made a big difference. Every day, texting me, make sure I'm okay. And not even asking me about football related things, just asking me about life, like how your grades, anything going on at home they want to talk to me about. So just them being there for me through the whole recruiting process made a big difference in where I chose to play football for the rest of my career.
That's great. And I wanted to go back to Hackensack High School. Principal, Jim Montesano, Superintendent Robert Sanchez, and then some of the, I think, assistant coaches as well, Cedric Brown, Brian Hooper, Walter King, Henry Reyes, Michael Sanchez. You'll have to help me out. Jesse's last name here. I can't say.
We just call him Coach Shark. Coach
Okay.
Shark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you just talk about the support from not only the administration and also the rest of the coaching staff as well?
See, all those guys that you named are really around the program a lot. Like, they're heavily involved in what we do and what we stand for, and they are great extensions of what we stand for into the classroom. So Coach Hooper, he's my teacher as well. He's a great teacher. He's a very good example for what I want to be and what I want to stand for when I get older. Coach Reyes as well in the classroom. Coach Hazel's a teacher as well. Coach Brown runs Pro Edge. These guys are all successful men that you see in the real world around here that you can model yourself after and want to be just like them when you get older, that are making more names for themselves out here, just not football, just as men.
Great. I'm wondering, when it comes to Hackensack High School, within, the school itself, and if what makes it so special, and also the community, the town of Hackensack as well, Curtis?
Makes special. Hackensack is just a different, like, when you come here, you would understand, like, just being around here for your whole life, everybody's family. So you don't see color, you don't see race, you don't see gender. Hackensack is Hackensack. So you can go anywhere. You're from Hackensack, I'm from Hackensack too, and just automatically become family. Anything you need a job, I got you. Anything you need, just Hackensack family.
Yeah, it's great. You talk about, of course, football, basketball. I'm wondering if there are any other sports growing up, when you were growing up, that you played, and for you, what makes the game of football so special to play, Curtis?
For me, growing up, I played everything. My dad was very good at getting me involved in everything at a young age. I didn't start tackle football till I was 10 years old or 11 years old, but I wrestled basically my whole life. That helped me with my balance, obviously, as a running back, as a defensive back, tackling, because, wrestling is extension of football on the mat. You double A takedowns, everything like of that nature. Basketball helped me with my lateral quickness, my competitive edge as well. And I just did track to keep myself fast when I was younger, and now I'm just focusing on football right now. I play basketball because it's my senior year, and my friends and my team needed me for my senior year to hopefully get a championship.
That's great. Hey, I'm wondering, when it comes to watching the NFL on Sundays, what players that you pay, particular attention to, especially with running backs?
See, I'm a running back fan. As you know, I watch almost every running back. I don't have a particular player that I like to watch, but when I do watch, I watch Ezekiel Elliott because I'm a Cowboys fan. But I take a little bit out of every running back's game. I just like the way everybody just has a different running style. I just want to combine all of that into my game, take something from everybody, and just make myself the ultimate runner.
It's great. Okay, here with the last two questions, or actually, one question, and you're gonna have the last word. Your message for younger kids, athletes out there, that want to strive, one day to be, Curtis Whiting, said in high school and then beyond. I'm wondering what your advice would be for those kids out there.
Honestly, just stay in your own lane. Everybody else doesn't matter. Honestly, don't compare yourself to anybody else. Just stay in your own lane. Everything else going for somebody else is not going to go on for you as well. So don't feed into the Twitter, the Instagram offers, anything like that of that nature. Just focus on yourself. Keep your head down and keep grinding, because what's yours is going to come to you, and what's theirs is going to come to them. So you'll fall in the right place. You just work for it, and you just keep grinding and do what you have to do in the classroom. So handle your business, and you'll be fine. Well
said. Okay, Curtis, I said I've created this new ending, is that the athlete, has the last word. It said for, it said the school, for the community, family, friends, teammates. The floor is yours, Curtis.
I just want to thank Hackensack for just being a great environment to me and a great community. I want to thank all my coaches, my support system, my mom, my dad, my sister. Just thank everybody who has put a hand into what I'm doing right now on the field and off the field. And for the next 4 years, I just want to keep that strong bond with Hackensack, and hopefully not fall off with anybody from my town, because I love everybody that's from here. I just want to give a shout out to my guy, Shalik. That's like my best friend. And he's one of my best blockers. So that's my guy. Well said.
Hey, you're said a class act, it said, I, again, so impressed by, said what you've done on and off the field, and, wishing you continued success, of course, here with the basketball season, graduation, and of course at Army West Point, and looking forward to seeing what you do at the next level, Curtis.
Thank you so much for having me. It was great.
Thank you.